So basically, what it looks like, this is the exact science of the universe. The power is in 13. So it's called the Black House, which is kind of like the White House, but it's the opposite. So it's the Black House. And so what we have is three main centers, and each one, it represents a quarter. So a 3 month period of time, which also could be 4 months, slightly depending upon the exacts. Spend 3 weeks in an area, come back every month, all four groups meet up in the middle. So like let's say this is the East Coast, this is the central Midwest, and then this is the West Coast. It's like this is Colorado, Arizona, Utah, and so on and so forth. And let's say we have three areas of cities, and each time the last week of the month we meet up in a centralized location, which is what I call the castle community or the center, or whatever we call it. And then in the middle, same thing. And so like we spend a period of time here, period of time here, period of time here. While we're here, someone else is here, someone else is here. And so we universally use this together. So this is sort of like what I would call the map of not the United States, but the new land. So whatever's next after the United States, which seems to be transitioning as well. So that's virtually what this is, what this looks like. This is the map. So from the future. So this is the map. This is what we're working towards. And so what I'm looking for is, and I'm finding these people, what I call them the first 25 souls. So right now we are collaborating with the first 25 souls. I am number 1, so I'm the beginning, and then we also have Darwin, which is number 25, so the end. And so the first 25 here, which we're headed into, let's say this is the United States map, right? Let's say this is the United States map, current map. So and then so there's 24 in between, or so. And so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And so that could mean two of them are here, 2 of them are here. And so it actually is already like this. Believe it or not, it's called grid work. And most likely these people are already, their born town that they were born in, they were actually born in these areas already. And so if you do the math and you look at it, it's actually already aligned like this on purpose. And so this is how the universe is created. This is how the whole process is. So it was actually made like this on purpose. And so our job is to, and by the way, I know the names of the other 23, and between 1 and 25, and our goal is to meet with all of them. And so I'm reaching out to them individually right now, and then of course each one of them is going to have more than likely their top 12, and so each one is considered 13, and they have a group of 12, so each single time. And so as we work together on the new heaven or the new Jerusalem, the advanced civilization, the golden race, so that type of stuff, right? Different words for it as well. And so this is what we call the new heaven map that we're looking at. So let's say, for example, we have Chicago right here. Okay, we have New York City here. We have Miami. And so as you guys can see, we are, and this is, let's say this is LA, this is Houston. We're headed in an area right now, guys, where people are awakening to their power. And so what I'm expecting to happen over the next 30 years is people to get so rich and so successful that they create their own cities. And so they will likely build their own cities under their own rules, and they will become empowered and create their own communities. And so I believe this is happening to some degree already in 2025. And I believe in the next 30 years, it will happen a lot as the financial revolution takes over the planet, it takes over the United States specifically, and people wake up to their souls and create what I call, there's 3 words for it, celestial cities, you could call it. 2, it could be called their soul cities, super cities, and so on and so forth. And many of them will be partnering up with ET technology, with something with crypto. I'm hearing that the creators of crypto are the reincarnation of the Khan family. It's a secret group, but there's no secrets, guys. In the new world, there's no secrets. So this is part of the age of Aquarius. Everyone awakens to their soul. Everyone remembers the book of life and who they actually are, deep level, beyond the veil. Now, this is the atom. This is the map, guys, for the next 25 years. 2025 to 2050, these are the generalized areas. This is the map of the quote-unquote United States with the old states. As we can see, a lot of communities are more than likely going to come up in the next 25 years. And I don't believe there will need to be any type of backlash or against the government type of situation. I don't believe that's how it's going to go out. I believe it's going to be peace. It's going to be a peaceful transition. So people will just create their own communities. And so we'll work together, and everyone will work together. And it's all about unity. And it's all about, another thing I call it is parallel universe schools. Parallel universe schools. And then also we would call this what I would call soul commander groups. So for example, right, Andrew Tate attracts a big audience. So what audience is attracted to Andrew Tate? More than likely his lineage when he was incarnated as one of the Khan members, the Genghis Khan and the grandsons of Genghis Khan. And so more than likely the people that resonate with Andrew Tate were in that bloodline, and they're in that soul group. And so that's likely how this plays out. People are waking up to who they are, which allows them to find their vibrational match and say, look, I'm going to be in this city, right? And it means something. If you go to quote-unquote Los Angeles, that's the angels, okay? Or whatever, that's the old city. Perhaps that city will stand, and perhaps it will turn into something else over the next 25, 50 years. And above and beyond. And guys, in past 2050, we'll be going to 2100, and then zoom out even further. Think about 2300. Think about the next 300 years or so in society, and think about what's going to happen. Likely, we're going to see, like I said, ET technology. Talk about immortality. A lot of people are thinking about it, extending human life. So if the average person lives to 100, we'll be thinking about extending the life to 200, and then maybe 300 plus. And once we get there, we'll see further, right? Some of us believe we'll live longer than that, but that would be virtually the next step in humanity, is to get past 100. And so as we come back to how it was when, let's say, Noah in the ark living to 900 plus years, Adam living to 900 plus years. So if you look at it, we have the very beginning. I'm going to draw a W here, which is like a Z and an M. So if it started here with Adam, and then it came down here, then then there was Enoch, and then you have your Noah, you have your Moses, right, and Jesus. And so Jesus is about the midway point, and then you have present day, which is about right here, and then we have all of this still to happen. And so if we ever were to quote unquote leave this planet in a spaceship to Mars, it would be right here. And so think about this. This was the beginning, and then you have Enoch probably a little bit closer to here, and then you have Noah here, perhaps Moses, and Jesus was about at the 40% line. Okay, about the 40% line by estimation. And so present day, we're almost to the 50% mark of planet Earth. Okay, and so we have about double of that estimated to go. But more than likely, what's also going to happen on a greater scale is, let's say this is the sun, and these are the planets. This is planet Earth, this is planet Mars, and this is, the rest of the planets. There's about 9 in what we call the solar system. And so likely what's going to happen as we evolve in consciousness, as life will be on these planets, or we will discover that there already is life on these planets. There is some type of discoveries that there is some type of life on planet Mars, specifically inside of Mars. And so there is some evidence that suggests that this may be a possibility. And so we'll think about, making people aware of that. Is that actually true? Also, we have what's called spaceships. And so spaceships, there's other solar systems in our galaxy. But if you zoom out, the galaxy in of itself is just one galaxy, and there's a mini galaxy. So you think about the possibilities of the multiverse and, space travel, stuff like Star Wars, is just showing us what is possible. And so not only what is possible, but what's happening in another dimension outside of time and space. And so we're in planet Earth right here in our time-space reality. And within planet Earth, you zoom all the way down, we're in the North America. Those that are watching this over here, some of us are in different continents, such as Africa or Asia, Europe, Australia, South America, and so on. But let's say in North America, this is the United States part, which is pretty small compared to the whole thing. But to realize there are beings in this area, because of social media and because of awareness, they're waking up to beings in other galaxies and perhaps even communicating in a telepathic way with them. And the fact that that's even possible really is an interesting perspective. The fact that we can get telepathic messages from beings in other galaxies, they're in a higher frequency, and get information on how they evolved their society and civilization. And we will be using this telepathic communication to prepare for quote unquote physical touchdown, which is teleportation, which to some that are not aware of the teleportation, that is already happening. It's just a certain frequency. And so a timeline that leads into it. And so there will be smaller groups. So let's say we have a big group of people, and then we have a small group says, hey, you know what, let's touch down. You know, the C5, you have, you know, Dr. You know, there's different extraterrestrial guides in today's world. In 2025, you have your Gaia. A lot of people are familiar with Gaia, and a lot of other ones that are similar to Gaia, or that originated from it. And there's many different things that have been going on over the last 100 or so years. Dr. Stephen Greer talks about this as well, which we see a lot of the documentaries, and so on and so forth. So anyway, yeah, guys, it's really exciting to think about this, and to think about what planet we're on, what country we're in, and what can happen, and to think about what were the possibilities of safely leaving this planet in a way that's telepathic or teleportation based, in the fact that it could happen smoothly and safely. You know, what frequency would we have to be on to be prepared for that? And so we're going through this era of 2025 to 2100 or so to evolve the human race, which is to evolve in light code frequency, which is to shine the light in the dark. And so with this process happening, it's really exciting to see this next 50 or so years play out, and for us to evolve in frequency to where we're no longer using the time-based construct. Okay, and so putting all this together is really exciting, guys. So this is the map, the first 25 souls on planet Earth, but also the fact that the whole soul thing is even deeper than what I can even express in this whole poster. But to know there is a possibility that we do leave this planet, and that timeline is already in existence. And so we're in a progression towards that over the next 300 or so years. We're in that direction, guys. And so if you look at it right now, we're in 2025. About 250 years ago was the beginning of the United States, right? Which was the Declaration of Independence, right? The Founding Fathers and so on. That was about 250 years ago. And back in about 1775. And then about 250 years from now is going to be 2275. And so 250 years ago, 250 years from now, and then present day. So to think about where are we headed to the next 250 years. And so to think about not only us, but our bloodlines and our children and our grandchildren, and where we headed the next 250 years. Will we live that long, or will our bloodline continue? And remember what we started in this life, ladies and gentlemen. This is the cycle of creation, and this is the Adam.